For 24 years, one league has stood the test of time. The Mile High Affiliates Podcast. Stories of triumph and heartbreak, told through 24 years of fantasy football. But the past was just the warm-up. Year 25 is here, and it is going to be epic.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
I am the god when it comes to the rules.
I am a hater on Jordan Love.
I was shitting on Sam Darnold like no other.
They're a team that doesn't want to eat their vegetables.
Copy. I got 5 championships.
You are listening to the MHA Podcast.
All right, what is up, MHA owners? Eric Lansing back in the lead spot here. It was fun to have Todd leading the charge last week. And both Todd and Mikey Renault here on this August 11th, Tuesday night to talk about running backs. And there are a lot, and we don't want to spend too much time just, bantering it up and wasting time. But how are you, fellas? You guys doing all right?
Doing fantastic. Good. Get ready to talk about running backs. Maybe now the most important position drafted in our league besides quarterbacks.
Sure. What do you think, Miguel?
Yeah, running backs are very, very important, and there's a lot of different running backs to talk about, a lot of different situations, and a lot of differing opinions at the top. So this should be a fun podcast.
How are things good? Everything good with you? How's things with Mikey Renault these days?
Oh, everything's great. We're almost to the draft. This is, some of the best times of the year. So,
yep.
At least in my opinion.
Coming around the corner. Well, let's get into the news first.
Hordes of panicky people seem to be evacuating the town for some unknown reason. Professor, without knowing precisely what the danger is, would you say it's time for our viewers to crack each other's heads open and feast on the goo inside?
Yes, I would, Kent.
Okay, let's start off with some breaking news, and got a couple of them today. We'll first talk about Kyler Murray is named as the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Mikey, are we surprised?
No, we shouldn't be. They made the right decision. I'm glad they made it early. Let's go, Kyler Murray.
There you go. For all those Justin Jefferson fans, it's going to be a lot better for him this season. More news from today. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua left practice with the training staff. The latest I read is he's dealing with a groin issue. How does that make you feel, Todd?
Well, obviously, it makes me a little nervous, but I'm more nervous about, and this is something, I was listening to this on the way when I was coming back from the gym, was, what he's done in the offseason is off the field stuff, the suspension still kind of looming. So if you got injuries and suspension, that's a double whammy to the face. Ooh, that's not good.
Double whammy to the face. My goodness. On a Tuesday night?
Yep. I mean, it's because here's the thing. It's almost like you want the injury or do you want the suspension? Because you don't know how many games he's going to get suspended for. And then, but at least I guess at least with the suspension, okay, 3 games, that's it. But he's healthy, he's good. But this mysterious injury that they said he just walked off with the training staff with, we don't know what's going on with that. So that's something definitely to monitor for sure. And obviously, when we get into the next week with the wide receiver podcast, that'll definitely be something to discuss as well.
Let's get back to some more wide receiver news. Stephon Diggs with the Commanders. Mikey, you were saying you were hoping to have that before our quarterback show. Does that bring Jaden Daniels up in your rankings a little bit to have Stephon Diggs with the squad?
I think it does. I've always really, really liked Stephon Diggs. He's, pretty consistent at the wide receiver position. I think it helps the Commanders. Now they have him and McLaurin. Makes them a better offense. I love it.
How about more wide receiver news? Malik Neighbors apparently looked good in his first practice since his knee injury. So that may be exciting when we start talking about wide receivers next week, as Todd mentioned. Zay Flowers, also another wide receiver, dealing with a quad injury. He's day-to-day. Heard he was back at practice today, however, so he might avoid anything serious. How about a scare from Broncos camp? Another wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, came up limp early last week, but he has since removed the leg sleeve, and I think he's close to being back at practice. How about some quick running back news? Josh Jacobs not practicing because he's also dealing with a groin injury. They're saying he's going to miss at least a week, but doesn't seem like it's going to be too long after that. How about the much value? Someone want to say something?
I was going to say, and speaking of obviously off-field issues as well, Josh Jacobs also has something looming too. So it's awesome. So injuries and off-field stuff. So just another little nugget in there for you.
Thanks.
No
Much
problem.
much ballyhooed rookie Jadarian Price dealing with lower body soreness. How about another wide receiver dealing with groin issues? Luther Burden dealing with that groin, could miss the rest of preseason. And I was going to ask Todd about him because he's super high on him, but we'll wait for when we talk about him on the wide receiver podcast. News that was released on Monday, Chargers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel is going to, or says he's going to utilize all three of his running backs, and Omarion Hampton, Kamani Vidal, and Keaton Mitchell. Says he's going to roll with the hot hand. Does that make you nervous, Miguel?
No, that's just something ugly people say. People say a lot of things in preseason, and I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, that's awesome.
Bengals head coach Zach Taylor said most of the starters will play in the preseason opener on Thursday against the Lions. That's interesting. Get those guys some reps early. Also making appearances Thursday night is Packers quarterback Jordan Love. So there you go. There's anything I miss on the news, guys, or can we move on to our next reveal of our MHA champion rankings?
Well, I'll just say this, that, it's the fact that 3 running backs got paid, and it's been a while, like, just in general of running backs getting paid, a lot of money, because teams are like, well, we can just go find, a cheaper rookie and everything like that. But, it's definitely a new NFL now, because for a while, teams didn't want to pay running backs. So teams are like, you know what? We need to pay running backs now again.
There you have it. Running backs getting paid. Different NFL. Todd Diamond leading the charge once again.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into the next team to unveil from the MHA all-time top 24 rankings.
24 years of greatness.
Acknowledge me!
And this week, we are going to unveil number 22, and that is the 2023 Butterfingers. Last week, we talked about the 2006 Lemonheads, and now talking about those Butterfingers. That season, Todd's team started off terribly, where he went 1-5-1 to the first 7 games, and he could have easily packed it up. But then his squad reeled off 6 straight wins and got into the playoffs as a 5 seed. He beat number 4 Hot Tamales 161-133. Beat number 1 seed Lion Rip 130-79. And then the number 3 seeded Kilgore Trout team 124-101. Todd's obviously here on the podcast. So Todd, take over and give me some of your thoughts about what you remember about that season a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you call this the he did what? I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously week 1, I had drafted Aaron Rodgers, and man, went down with 2-3 seconds within with the start of the game, and I was like, well, there's my season. There, I thought, like, oh, come on, the fantasy football gods they're just like, nope, you're not winning this year, Todd. Sorry, try again next year. But obviously I drafted McCaffrey with my first overall pick, and obviously McCaffrey does everything, runs, catches, and everything like that, and so forth. And then I drafted, obviously we always draft backup quarterbacks for the most part. And in the 13th round, I drafted some quarterback who was the last pick in the actual NFL draft. Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, small quarterback and everything like that. And, drafted him and everything like that. And, I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna give up because I thought the rest of my team, I had McCaffrey, I had my boy Aaron Jones, I had Mike Evans. I thought I had those three players really. I thought, okay, maybe I can maybe still salvage this and not finish and not finish last. But yeah, I mean the first, losing the first week and then winning and then tie and then just losing four in a row. Not good, not good. But I don't know. You know, and you all know I love analogies and the analogy I used for my team was Rubik's cube. Rubik's Cube. And I know Aaron just loved that one. He just loved that to the ends of the earth. He's like, oh man, if I hear Rubik's Cube one more time, I'm going to scream. But just every single week, I was like, you know what? I just need to, figure this out and I can get out of and I can maybe get out of this. And simply too, I asked Mikey, I said, Mikey, just realistically, because Mikey is really good with numbers and, figuring it out. And I said, Mikey, what would I have to do in order to, maybe either to get into the playoffs? I mean, I wasn't even thinking about winning the championship, just getting in the playoffs. And he said, you got to win 7 in a row. I'm like, all right. So I ended up winning 6 in a row. And week 14, I played you, Eric. And at that point, I really didn't need to win because I think I was already in the playoffs with those 6 wins and so forth. And I mean, it was, I don't know. It really is. It really is the Al Michaels call. He did what? Because I mean, just rattling off all those wins and the players. McCaffrey doing everything, and then making those trades for. The trades, for Najee Harris, even though I shitted on him, a few years back because I drafted him so high. Mike Evans was great. Traded for Deontay Johnson, another Butterfingers all timer, on there and anything like that. So happy to get my third win, and I thought it was just historic. I think the story itself, because I mean 7s across the board. I mean 7 scoring, 7 points allowed. I mean 7th, in allowing points against. So, you'd think with that, like, no way nobody can win. But I found a way and I got my 3rd championship, and it's a great story for our league, going forward. So feel good about it. So yeah.
Mikey, is there anything that you remember? I mean, you put a lot of this info together. Is there anything about his year that stands out to you, or did Todd sum it up pretty good?
Yeah, he summed up a lot. I would say that the biggest lesson that can be learned from the 2023 Butterfingers is that you're never out of it. Even when, things may be down, like Todd found a way, and he found a way by changing his team. He had a team that was not good at all in the beginning of the season, and so he didn't just sit there and roll with that to the end. He made some deals that kind of put his team in a different direction, and it, he reaped the benefits of that. And so, yeah, great story, but it's more about those moves that he made in season with getting Najee Harris, getting Tank Dell, getting Deontay Johnson, picking up David Njoku. As great as McCaffrey was, it was those other moves that made the difference.
Yeah, I think when everybody, it's easy to give up, and I know it's different in terms of how you can change your season. It's tougher in football because there's less players and you're relying heavily on those big dogs at the beginning. If you lose one of those, it's tougher, but not impossible. But you have to look at it as overall as a league. Like Todd had that rough start to the season, he still got in as a 5 seed. So don't think just because your record's not great that you can't get in. It could be the entire league that can be like even Steven. There's a lot of disparity, and it's not, maybe there's 2 teams at the top that have these incredibly high records, but everybody else is kind of in the middle. So you can sneak in and get in, because that's all you have to do is, as Todd saw, you got in, went on an amazing run, and he's the champion. So a lot of lessons to be learned from that season. All right. Well, congratulations on that, Todd. And then next week, we'll be going on to numbers at number 21 next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the running backs and let's quickly go through how the top 12 finished in 2025. CMC, number 1 overall running back at 370 points, over 2,100 yards of offense, 17 touchdowns. Number 2, how about Jonathan Taylor, 343 points, a little over 1,900 total yards and 20 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs at number 3, 336 points, 1,800 total yards and 18 touchdowns. How about Bijan Robinson at number 4, 329 points, 2,200 total yards and 11 TDs. Devin Achane, number 5, 298 points, 1,800 total yards and 12 TDs. In the number 6 spot from last year, James Cook, 287 points, 1,900 total yards and 14 touchdowns. How about the guy that just continues to do it every year? Number 7, Derrick Henry, 272 points, 1,700 total yards and 16 touchdowns. Number 8, Chase Brown, 260 points, 1,400 total yards and 11 touchdowns. Kyron Williams at number 9. Just shows you how good Aaron's team was. He has 3 of these running backs in the top 9, I believe. And then, where are we at here? Williams, 249 points, 1,500 total yards, and 13 touchdowns. Travis Achane Jr., he's number 10 at 239 points, 1,400 total yards, and 13 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, how about that name? Number 11, 235 points, 1,300 total yards, and 13 touchdowns. And Ashton Genty, number 12, the rookie from last year, 227 points, 1,300 total yards, and 10 TDs. Well, let's get into this running backs talk, and we'll have a great conversation right out of the gate. Who is number 1? The consensus, at least top 3, or guys that are vying for number 1, are between Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and CMC. And so you guys, as we unveil here, both have Christian McCaffrey as your number 1. I have him number 3. So we'll let you guys talk about why you think CMC should be the number 1, and we'll start with Mikey.
Cool. So, I mean, when I was going through my rankings, I just kind of looked at it like, who would I want on my team? I tried to not allow injury to become involved. I know when it comes to McCaffrey, it's a big thing, as he has missed, portions of basically 5 seasons in his career. But I just look at what he does when he's there and the situation that he is in. Last year with San Francisco, like, due to injuries around their team, like, he is kind of like that, the center of that team. Like, he does everything. He catches the ball, he runs the ball in the red zone. They're going to give it to him. So to me, if he's healthy, he's going to end up somewhere getting 15 to 20 touchdowns. And they're already a team that, with Kittle banged up, that volume's going to go more to him. Like, they need him to be competitive. And so, as much as I absolutely love Jahmyr Gibbs, who I had second, and I love Bijan Robinson, I just feel like that the majority and all that volume going to McCaffrey kind of put him over the top over those two for me.
Sure, and I think 370 points Christian McCaffrey had compared to Bijan 329 and Gibbs 336. So if everything stood the same, he would be the number 1 guy once again. Those 102 receptions are just monumental. I mean, that's pretty much almost 2 players in the one position. Todd, why did you have Christian McCaffrey number 1?
Because the reason I had McCaffrey number 1 is because he does it all. I mean, and I know the injury part too comes into play, but again, I agree with Mikey. I didn't put that into my thinking when I was ranking my running backs. But McCaffrey, when McCaffrey is on that field, he's reliable. I mean, for the most part, you don't have to take him off the field. He does everything. He is a running back and a wide receiver all fused into one. And McCaffrey gets those. he gets those tough yards. I'm not saying that Gibbs or Robinson doesn't, but McCaffrey in this situation and the way he said, like Mike, he said, the way um, how the 49ers rest of the offense is banged up, wide receivers and tight ends. I mean, McCaffrey, that's all they got at this point. I mean, obviously, the season hasn't started yet, but that's what I want, because I know guaranteed every single week for the most part I'm gonna at least get at least 15 15 to 20 or maybe even close to 25 points every week, almost guaranteed. I know you never want to do guarantees in sports, but McCaffrey comes pretty close to doing that every week.
Okay, so it has to be. It's obviously injuries for a guy that 2 years ago played in only 4 games, and in 21 just played in 7 games, and played in 3 games in 2020, and he just hit 30 in terms of his age. And I'm not saying that if he's going to start falling down in terms of his talent and his body wearing thin, but I mean, you guys kind of said it too in terms of their injuries as a whole. With all of we've seen Brock Purdy go down, we've seen George Kittle goes down, we've seen Debo and all of the wide receivers. And as much as I would love in a perfect world for Christian McCaffrey to get 30 total touches a game because they have no one else, doesn't that just mean it's going to lead to injuries? I mean, that's not for sure, and that it's all just speculation. But I mean, with Bijan and Jameer, both guys I had of McCaffrey, they're 24 years old and they can deal with the extra work early. And because I mean, that's the things that are exciting about those two is like, oh, they just got a bunch of opportunities because of people that have left the team. And so if you're guaranteeing me Christian McCaffrey 17 games, then great, I'll put him number 1, but that's not a guarantee. And you can lose a season if McCaffrey, I mean, for everybody who's had Christian McCaffrey and he got hurt, the season changes.
Of course.
And I don't know if I want to take that chance that early in a draft with that caliber of player in terms of at least trying to draft him over Gibbs and Robinson, if that makes sense. Jahmyr Gibbs is my number 1, and it's exciting to see what he's capable of with no David Montgomery. I think that's the big thing. Mikey has said to me he thinks Pacheco could kind of fall into that David Montgomery role. We'll have to see as preseason if that's something you want to do. I mean, in terms of the overall offense, they have a new offensive coordinator who came over from Arizona. So I don't know if things change with him, but in the past, you can't expect them not to have someone that's going to kind of play a David Montgomery role. And we'll see if Pacheco kind of fills that role. But for someone who's in an incredible offense, who has one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, I think the offense could just absolutely flourish. And this guy's just amazing on wheels. Anybody want to say anything about Gibbs or anything about Bijan? Mikey?
I mean, both of them, I think, kind of go into a different hemisphere as far as like what they're capable of doing. Because in Atlanta, they lost Tyler Algier as well. And now, Bijan's backup is Brian Robinson Jr., which
was McCaffrey's backup.
Yeah, not great, not the best. So yeah, I mean, both of them. Yeah, I think both of them had new offensive coordinators too, so you don't really know what you're getting there. But yeah, both of them have opportunities to have their best seasons. They both got paid, well deserved. We talked about that. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong to me with either one of them, to be honest.
I agree. I think the only thing that gives me pause is the offense of Atlanta, but they haven't been great offensively, and Bijan still puts up banana numbers. So I don't know if that really matters at the end of the day, but that's one of the few reasons I have Jahmyr Gibbs a little higher. We'll keep things going because I'm interested to hear what Todd has to say. So that kind of the next tier in terms of after, that's kind of like one tier. And Gibbs, Robinson, McCaffrey, those guys are amazing. They can win you a league. Kind of the next tier that I see when I'm reading and looking on the web and all that stuff is Jonathan Taylor and James Cook are kind of the next two guys. Todd is a big James Cook guy, so I'll let you give us some of your thoughts and why you're really high on him. I believe you have him fourth.
Yes. So the reason I have James Cook higher over Jonathan Taylor is I think just James Cook can do more, definitely in the passing game. I mean, only have projecting 2 touchdowns, receiving touches. I think he gets a little bit more than that, but I just think, again, I like the situation better, the quarterback situation better in Buffalo than I do with the Colts. Again, obviously Taylor, 18 touchdowns last year, but I don't know. I think and they have Cook only projected only 11 touchdowns. I like that. I think he gets. I think James Cook gets close to 15, maybe close to 20 touchdowns in that Buffalo offense. I just like the offense a little bit better because I like the quarterback play a little bit more. I like the quarterback better than I do there. So I'm a little bit higher on James Cook.
Sure. Led the league in rushing 1 year ago. Not a big receptions guy. Mikey, you have Cook a little higher than Taylor. Anything you want to say about Cook or Taylor?
Well, no, I had Taylor higher than Cook.
You do? I told you I was going to do it. I have Todd in the second one, Mikey on the right side. You are correct. Taylor over Cook. You have Taylor ranked fourth.
Yeah, and so my point is going to be completely, against what Todd just said. Like, I think the quarterback is the reason why I like Jonathan Taylor more. Like,
Daniel
when
Jones
Buffalo is
rushed
in
for 14 touchdowns.
No, he's not. Yeah, I mean, we've seen over and over again, year after year, what this Buffalo offense does. Cook is going to get his opportunities, but half of those are going to be stolen by Josh Allen. And, with Indianapolis, Jonathan Taylor last year, this is in the under stat, like, he had 70 rushing attempts inside the 20-yard line. That was second in the NFL, one behind Christian McCaffrey. James Cook was fourth, but at 53. That's 17 less attempts. So
I love when you talk stats. Makes me all hot and bothered. Continue.
So I'm just saying, like, the Colts are a decent enough offense that when they get down there, their best option is Jonathan Taylor over any of the receivers that they have. And like I said, I just feel like Cook will still be good, but with Josh Allen stealing away touchdown opportunities, I gotta take Taylor.
Yeah, I kind of agree. They're both the number one and don't have a great backup. But I think with Taylor, like, for those who remember, when they had Daniel Jones, that offense was rolling. They were averaging like 38 points a game. He looked like the MVP, and yes, his volume eventually kind of went down as a season after Daniel Jones was, suffered a season-ending injury. Daniel Jones is back. They look just as good in terms of what they bring to the table as last year. They have an awesome offensive line who returned 4 of 5 starters. So I have them just one ahead of Taylor. Just I think Mikey has Genty a little higher than that, but I'm big on Jonathan Taylor, and I think for someone that is going to be huge at the goal line, he's done it time and time again. The one thing you worry about is he had 323 attempts and 46 receptions, and so you wonder if that's that amount of volume that you're taking on every year is gonna. We've seen it every year where someone takes on too much, and then the next year they're dealing with injuries. And we've seen Taylor with injuries, but his upside is just through the roof. We'll get to Genty. I know Mikey has him ranked, so make sure I'm looking at the right. He's got him fifth. So we'll talk about it here in a second. But we want to talk about some pass-catching running backs, and we talk about Chase Brown and Devin Achane. Mikey, which one of those guys do you like better? And give me your thoughts.
I have Achane just a tick higher than Chase Brown. And offensively, obviously, Cincinnati is better than Miami, but there is not any other weapon fighting Devin Achan for opportunities in Miami. So even though that is a bad offense, I mean, how much of this offense is just going to run through him? Hopefully, they don't run him into the ground. We have seen like he is great catching the ball, like he can be explosive, and so yeah, I just think opportunity is better for Achan slightly than Chase Brown.
Todd, your thoughts on Achan or Chase Brown?
I mean, I have HN ranked 6th, and I mean, yeah, there's no competition in Miami for HN. Obviously, Chase Brown I have Chase Brown ranked 10th. Again, it all comes down to Joe Burrow staying healthy, because I mean, obviously that offense can put up a lot, but there's no there. It's HN and that's it. And that to me, just like with McCaffrey, um, you know, there's no really competition, and that's what he's always going to. And the fact of the matter is, they're just like McCaffrey and HN. They're going to be on the field pretty much all 3 downs, and they both can catch. As well. So that to me gives me the confidence that that he can be their ultimate weapon in Miami. So they sure don't have a quarterback, I'll tell you that.
Well, see, isn't that the problem though? Is
Mhm.
that I think this offense could be even worse than it was last year. Their offensive line is putrid.
Yeah.
They lose Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
They face the second hardest schedule in the NFL. I mean, Achan's great. I don't want to take anything away. Despite even how bad they were last year, it was averaging 5.7 yards per carry. But they lose Mike McDaniel, who's obviously a brilliant offensive mind. And it just makes me nervous to have this guy even on my radar. Now, there's a good chance I have to decide with him being late with the 9th pick and then coming around at the beginning of the 2nd round. It's just not something I want to deal with. I feel like,
Well,
Sounds like you've made up your mind already.
because
yeah.
there'll be times where he catches 6-7 passes and he runs for 70 yards, but he's not going to score a touchdown. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not looking at it, but and maybe I'm just looking too much at how bad that offense is going to be this year. And then you see those offenses ahead of them, and like the guys I have them, because I have them 9th and you guys have them 6th and 7th. So I'm not too far behind, but give me Saquon in that offense that's going to have ability to score more points and just have smart people in the right spot. Like, aren't we all agreeing that Miami is tanking for the number 1 spot next year? And so when it gets to those points at the end of the season where they're battling with some other crappy team and there's just like, well, let's take HN off the field. We don't need him scoring. I mean, I don't know, but then that's the type of things I think about and how bad this offense is going to be. Am I being silly on HN, Mikey? It's only a couple spots, but am I overreacting? Because this was
Maybe a little.
it was a hard decision to like okay. I mean, Chase Brown I like a lot. His offense is better, but obviously there's guys that are going to score touchdowns in terms of the wide receiving core and the tight end, and so he's not going to score every game. Where Achan is the number 1 guy, but if they're not moving the ball up the field or they're going 3 and out, I've been a part of that when I had Tua as a quarterback a couple of years ago. And so maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Yeah, I think you're with Chase Brown. What you're going to find is he's going to be solid enough to where he's getting you double digits every game, but you're going to find yourself sometimes getting annoyed because even when they're like inside the 5, they're going to be like, oh, well, let's just throw it up to Higgins here, or let's run little routes. They do a lot of throwing in the red zone, and so there's going to be times where like, yeah, he's the 3rd option, I guess, at that point for Cincinnati, and so that can be a little bit frustrating. Whereas, Achan, like Todd said, he's going to be on the field all the time, and yeah, their offense is bad, and so he may not get touchdowns either, but he's going to get a lot of counting stats because they're just going to have to. They have no choice but to find ways to get him involved, and get him involved all the time. So,
let's talk about some second-year backs, and we'll talk about Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton and Quinshon Judkins. And Mikey is at least higher than we are in terms of Genty. He's got him ranked 5th. Todd 9th, and I've got him 8th. Give us some of your thoughts. Why are you on the Ashton Genty train?
Well, there's always one of these guys that kind of pops in where you're just like, man, I wish I would have known prior to that this was going to happen. And so I was trying to pinpoint guys that I thought could have that capability of making that jump. Genty kind of leapt off the page for me. Not only because I think he's got the talent too, and he just had a really terrible team in offensive line last year. This year, they went in free agency. The Raiders, they picked up some good offensive linemen to kind of help them out. They have a veteran quarterback in there now that knows their system, and they're bringing in that Shanahan system with Clint Kubiak coming in from Seattle, which I trust running the football with and running backs in that system more than I do any system in the NFL. So if it's going to work for Genty, I believe it's set up perfectly for him this year.
So, Todd, do you want to give us some of your thoughts on Genty, or if you would like to talk about one of the other two second-year running backs?
Sean Judkins, please. Obviously, before he got hurt, he was like the primary back, and and that was even with a little bit bad quarterback play. Hopefully they. I mean, right now it's between Shador and Deshaun Watson. Last year, he had seven total touchdowns. Running the ball and everything like that kind of came on a little bit late just because contract, I guess, dispute or whatever. But I'm really high on him. I know I have him ranked 16th in my rankings, but that's just more about trying to who's going to be the quarterback, and I hope it is Shador because I think both of them play together, so they'll have a better. Each one of them knows how to. They know each other's different plays and everything like that. So I'm really high on him. And I think he'll take a leap even in the receiving game a little bit too. He had 171 yards, only 26 yards, 26 receptions, but I think that might go up. That goes up a little bit too as well because they want to get him more involved. So I'm high on Judkins.
Now wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
What if the Browns are terrible and are tanking for Manning, and then they decide that Judkins can't play at the end of the season?
Oh, Mikey, come on.
Well played. No, that's pretty good. No, well played, Mikey. Well, touche. Well, hopefully. Well, I mean, if it happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we'll.
So that leaves me with Omarion Hampton, and I don't mind talking about him. I'm liking how this Chargers offense is coming together, bringing in. We talked about Mike McDaniel, what he did with Achane over there, and this is a guy who had 32 receptions in limited time. He missed 8 games with a fractured left ankle. Then he came back, and then he suffered a right ankle strain, which kind of kept him out. But this is a guy who had back-to-back 1,500-yard seasons in college. I know a lot of people are freaking out about I guess Mitchell and Vidal are going to get involved, but the cream rises to the top, and this offense is going to be flourishing, I feel like, this year. And I projected I didn't project it. I don't have that type of math in me, but I typed into Google what his full season stats would have looked like if he would have played a full 17 games, and he would have been close to 1,100 total rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 60 catches for 2 more touchdowns. So a total about 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's probably about right, 10 to 12 in terms of that area. And obviously he's young and he can get better. So I'm kind of excited about Omarion Hampton. Let's talk about rebound year. A couple guys that struggled last year. And we talk about Saquon Barkley and Bucky Irving. Obviously Saquon 2 years ago on Mikey's squad was MVP worthy for the numbers he was putting up. And then Bucky, I believe he was a rookie 2 years ago. I'll have to check that out, or correct me if I'm wrong, but he had a incredible last 2.5 months of the season. Todd, which one of those guys you'd like to talk about, whether you think they're going to have a rebound year or if they're just going to continue on a downward trend?
I think Saquon. I think it's kind of the obvious one. We've seen we've seen the bad with Saquon, but the good. There's been more good than bad, and yeah, I mean they have projected at nine touchdowns. Yeah, he's gonna get double digits. I mean Saquon is that good. Um, to go not to have it not to rebound. I have him ranked seventh in my rankings, but I think he rebounds. And especially too now that um, they lost AJ Brown, so now they still have Devonta Smith, but they have a bunch of rookie wide receivers. So I think Saquon definitely, you know, just kind of like with the situation with McCaffrey. I mean, obviously the Eagles still have Devonta Smith, so that helps. That puts him in the number one role. But Saquon, rebounds, with ease.
What say you, Miguel? Saquon or Bucky Irving? Who do you want to talk about?
I was hedging with Saquon Barkley because I didn't really know what to do with him. Like this constant changing of the offensive coordinators has got me stymied because I really, as
Great
good
word.
as he was, 2 years ago, it was just about as bad as he was last year. And I don't really know why. Like he honestly, like he was not good last year. Like the Eagles could not run the ball. They just went to almost exclusive tush push down at the goal line. And so the coordinator got fired. Now they bring in a new one. So yeah,
And
I
this
don't
was,
really know what to do with him.
and their coordinator was actually promoted from within. So I don't I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because it's someone who was there for Saquon's amazing year, but then he was also part of last year. If I read that right, I think here's my thoughts, Saquon, quickly, and I'll go to Bucky in a second. But I think their offense is just too good. The coaches are too good. I mean, teams are going to have bad years. Injuries are going to take place. And Saquon, he's a little long in tooth at 29, but I just don't think that he's just totally dropped off and he's not as good. Is he good as 2 years ago? No. Is he as bad as last year? No. He's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. So if you're getting
Yeah.
1,200 to 1,300 yards and 7 to 10 touchdowns, and he gets somewhere in 35 receptions, yeah, I'll take him at 7, 8, 9, depending on how everything kind of plays out. But I just don't think the Eagles are a bad team, and they'll figure it out. They'll get back on track, and maybe that's ignorance on my part, but there's just so many good things in place where I think there's a chance for them to rebound. And I'll talk about Bucky Irving real quick as I scroll down because I have him further down. I guess we're all close, 18, 18, and 17. I'm concerned that he is not as good as what he was a couple of years ago. And obviously there was a lot of injuries on the offensive line last year. Quarterback play was not good last year. But this is a guy who's averaged 3.4 yards per carry in his career. He's had injuries in both of his seasons so far. And even during obviously it's only 2.5 months, so he only finished 15th amongst our running backs. But I think I'm going to try other guys like Travis Etienne and Javonte Williams, who I feel like can do it at a more consistent pace. Like you also have to think that the Buccaneers are going to rebound in order for Bucky to rebound. And I think there's a lot of concern in that regard. The one thing I do like is his offensive line's fantastic. They were very hurt last year. If they come back healthy, great. What I don't like, Kenneth Gainwell enters the mix. And so can't Bucky Irving at 5'10", 195 pounds even get in for 3 downs anymore? If he's injury prone, he might be slated for just 2. So that kind of gives me pause as well. So I'm not super high on Bucky. I mean, I see the talent, but the injuries and I don't know. He's just kind of that guy that's going to be somewhere between 17 and 20. And if there's a wide receiver I like better, which is probably the case at this point, then I'm probably not going to have him on my team. Anybody want to see about Bucky Irving, or should we continue on?
We can continue on.
Mikey, same?
Same, I agree with your points. They're pretty valid.
Thank you. Glad I kind of know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get into some rapid fire questions. I'm not going to ask you guys to like give me some elaboration. If you want to say a sentence, Todd, yeah, you can say a sentence.
Yes.
But we're going to go through some of these running back questions fairly quickly. We're at 48 minutes, so we should be able to get through this. All right, gentlemen, is Derrick Henry still a top 12 running back? Mikey?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
I also believe he should be in the top 10, actually. I still think he's, even at 31, he's still doing it. Ooh, excuse me. All right, how about David Montgomery? Can he be a top 12 running back? Mikey?
No.
How about you, Todd?
Absolutely not.
None of us are super high on him. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, who would you prefer? Would you prefer to draft Travion Henderson in the 6th round or Ramondre Stevenson in the 8th? Mikey?
I have Henderson in the 5th, so I guess I'm going to have to go that direction, even though I do have my concerns.
So you're saying you'd rather have Henderson earlier than Ramondre a little later?
Correct.
Okay. Todd, what do you think?
Same. Henderson first. I have him ranked 22nd in my rankings.
Well, it's not about who's higher. It's just a matter
Who you
of
prefer. Yeah,
who would
Henderson.
you prefer? I mean, if he's there in the 6th round and Ramondre, you could have 2 rounds later. But you're saying Henderson.
Yes, Henderson.
I'm kind of leaning towards Ramondre Stevenson. I have a lot of concerns about Henderson. DeAndre Swift in the 5th round or Kyle Monangai in the 9th, Mikey. So that's like a 4-round difference.
Yeah, I think the value is better on Monangai, actually. I have DeAndre Swift as 5th round, which is right where you put the question, and then I've got Monangai actually as kind of end of round 7. So I would definitely take 9th round on Monangai.
Is it fair to say you're not a DeAndre Swift guy?
No, he's just always kind of falls in the same spot every year.
He's just which is not a bad thing either.
Yeah.
But Monangai has that ability to kind of shoot up and be finish higher than maybe Swift's highest available or highest potential, his highest ceiling per se. Todd, what about you? Swift in the 5th or Monangai in the 9th?
Swift for me.
I think I would also say Swift. I'm still thinking, I would say Swift. I wasn't super concerned. Okay, here's one straight up. RJ Harvey or J.K. Dobbins? Mikey?
Give me Dobbins. I have more of a defined role there. Harvey right now, unless injuries happen, is kind of like the 3rd down guy.
How about you, Todd?
Oh, it's Harvey all day long.
That's not a surprise. I would probably also shoot Harvey. Even though Dobbins would start the season, Harvey would finish it, and he was really good down the stretch. All right, how about Chuba Hubbard? This is a guy that's kind of been all over the map. Anywhere I look, rankings-wise and magazines-wise, Hubbard is one of those volatile players. So what do you guys think about Chuba Hubbard in the 7th or James Brooks in the 9th, Mikey?
So I think Jonathan Brooks is...
sorry.
James Brooks, the old Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah.
My mistake. There's a lot of typing going on. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard in the 7th or Jonathan Brooks in the 9th.
I think I would take a shot at Brooks. And the only reason I say this is because I think last year, for whatever reason with this coaching staff, I got the idea that they don't necessarily believe in Hubbard. And so... yeah, at that point in the draft, I think I would take a shot at Brooks.
I'm with you on that. Todd, what do you think?
Chuba.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, guys? Tony Pollard, thumbs up, thumbs down. Mikey?
Thumbs up. I like Tony Pollard. I think that offense in Tennessee is going to be a lot better this year.
Todd?
Thumbs down.
Give me thumbs up. Pollard's always just kind of – he's not electric. He's not going to win you a league, but he's also good depth to have and – good flex guy. All right, how about Rachaad White, Mikey? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm always down on Rachaad White.
Todd?
Oh, thumbs up. I love the situation now, too, that he's going into with the Commanders. Plain and simple. He's better than all the running backs they have. So,
Yeesh, I kind of agree with Todd. Thumbs up. Blake Corum, Mikey. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down. Corum will be fine if there's an injury, but other than that,
he had 10 carries per game last year. I was surprised to read that today.
Yeah, but he's never going to be a guy that I would feel comfortable starting unless he's in that starting role.
Todd? He
I don't know. It's kind
sideways.
Yeah, so kind of
an option. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Okay. I'll go thumbs up because if he gets an opportunity, I think he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, thumbs up. I think he's good. He just needs that opportunity. So he's a guy I'll draft late. And if I don't have Kyron, I hope he gets hurt. Jordan Mason, thumbs up or thumbs down, Miguel?
Thumbs up for me. Somebody's got to take that role in Minnesota, and it's a good offense. And I think Aaron Jones is cooked. So yeah, thumbs up for me.
Woo, saying Jones is cooked. How about you? You feel the same way, Todd?
I mean, thumbs up. I mean, I hope Aaron Jones can do something, but I'll go thumbs up for Jordan Mason.
Did you just hear the belief in his way? He's got to be able to do it. He's got to. He just has to. I love him so much.
Butterfinger Hall of Famer to the end.
It doesn't matter about this year.
Okay.
Jordan Mason, thumbs up for me as well. How about Kenny Gainwell? Miguel, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Whew, thumbs sideways. I mean, I don't,
Oh, no. You got to give me one or the other. If I have to go through it, you have to go through it.
I guess it's going to be down because I don't think the situation's as good as Pittsburgh. And so, yeah, I'm going to go thumbs down on Gainwell.
Todd?
Thumbs down for me.
I mean, I said all that negative stuff about Bucky Irving. So I'll say thumbs up as kind of a guy off the bench type of individual. How about now? This was some news I read today that Charbonnet may not be ready until the very end of the season. So maybe this is an easy decision because I thought he was coming back at least in the first 6 games. I would love him to have the rest of the season, but it doesn't look good according to something I read today. But maybe you guys know better than me. But Zach Charbonnet, thumbs up or thumbs down, Miguel?
Hey, I'll still give the guy a thumbs up, you know. Put him as a stash, you know. He was good in that offense. Can score some. He was great at the goal line. I'm going to give him a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to give an A. I'm going to give a dope.
So I guess that means thumbs down. All right, last one, gentlemen. Chris Rodriguez. Mikey, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down. I have no real big time interest in Chris Rodriguez. I think Tootin's the guy there.
Todd?
Let's keep it moving. Thumbs down.
I'm going to put thumbs up because I don't know if we'll see if Tootin can do it for a whole season. Chris Rodriguez hasn't given a lot of opportunities, but he's always averaged around 5 yards per carry. So I'll keep him at least on the radar. I'll give him thumbs up. All right, we are at 56 minutes. We kind of talked about some rankings disputes. Is there any? We kind of talked about it before. We talked about Jeremiah Love. I was much lower than you guys on Jeremiah Love. Mikey, do you want to talk about why you have him 12th and I have him, not why I have him 19th, but why you have him higher than I do?
Yeah, like I said, I think talent wins in this one. I just liked what I saw from him. And it may not be something that's immediate, or maybe it will be. We'll see. But yeah, I feel like at least from what I saw, he's going to have no problem leading that backfield over the likes of James Conner or Tyler Algier. And yeah, I think there's question marks with other running backs that are beneath him. So I like Love.
I don't know there's a lot of question marks about the offense as a whole. I don't know how competitive they're going to be. For such a high pick, like, of course, no matter, even despite Algier and Connor, that, he's not going to get the run of the carries. But how good is that offense going to be? I kind of went between him and Bucky Irving. That's kind of where that area is. And DeAndre Swift, like, he's probably got the talent to be better than Bucky Irving. But yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't move him past 19. And maybe preseason changes my mind on that. Some other discrepancies we saw. Todd is a big Bayshore Tootin hater. I have him 24th. Mikey 20th. Todd, you have him 39th. So someone who just hated Chris Rodriguez, who's going to run the ball in Jacksonville?
I think they're just going to be throwing the ball a lot. So I'm not really – I don't know. I'm kind of have to just wait and see how preseason goes with him because ATN was really good in that offense. So I need to kind of see what the other running backs can do. So that's why I kind of have him ranked pretty low.
Okay, last rankings dispute. Jonathan Brooks. Todd doesn't have him ranked at all amongst his 50. Why do you hate Jonathan Brooks?
Well, I mean, again, it's not his fault because obviously he was injured. But I think Chuba, just has a grip on that starting running back position, and hey, maybe prove me wrong, but I'm just not really high on him, and hey, if he shows something in preseason, maybe I'll put him into the rankings, or I mean, obviously I didn't rank a whole lot, but
Well, Mikey, you want to tell him why that's not the right thing to do, is not have him ranked?
I don't think I want to help God. No,
You don't want
he
to help.
doesn't want to.
I think you have to take into account, and it is our first running back rankings. Things are going to change. But, like, what if Jonathan Brooks is better than Chuba Hubbard? Like, you almost have to have him ranked just for that. Because he could end up... Because, I mean, everything that Mikey said was correct. Where they went out of the way to get guys because they don't like Hubbard. I think they're trying to get someone else in. And they brought in, was Rico Dowdle last year? And then he overtook him, and he was great, and whatever. But, yeah, that was just one of the ones I was like, because I have him 32nd, Mikey has 35th, and Todd's like, nah, I don't like him at all. But that's just kind of how it goes. But Todd, what's on next week's show?
all right, we get to talk about some wide receivers. Is Jamar Chase back on the mountaintop? The news of Kyler Murray being the starting quarterback for the Vikings, does that help Justin Jefferson? I don't know. We'll just have to find out on next week's podcast.
There you go. Another edition of the MHA podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Mikey Renaud, Todd Diamond. I'm Eric Lansing. We'll see you next week.